So you guys have been performing fish eyes around the country for years now. Has every performance brought something new to the work for acting or the audience?
Yeah, one of the things that's been fun, and when we've performed it over the last number of years, it's not always in its entirety. Sometimes it's in chunks and pieces. In fact, it's usually pieces of it. The exception to the rule is that we get to do the whole thing. So this is really exciting to be able to do this for a chunk of time. But yeah, I think we always find.
One of the things that's fun is it's a piece that we know well, and so now we're able to play with it more and find new things. So as an actor, one of the things that's really fun is when you can work on a piece that is organic. We use the word organic.
Yeah.
It's sort of alive, and it's not the same every night. You know, you might have a whole different feel to a scene, but it's cool. And the coolness is not the goal. The goal is that you keep it alive and tingling.
Yeah.
And so when you find that newness, that helps with that,
Yeah.
that sort of vibrancy.
Yeah, we often will walk off after doing it wherever we might be, and well, that was different. And sometimes it's a good different. I remember recently, I think it was maybe about a year ago, we went down to a place I think it was in Phoenix, to perform it, and we're doing the whole piece that night, and I didn't know, but on the way down, I was on the verge of getting sick, so we ended up doing the whole thing as I was getting worse and worse and worse throughout the night, and I had bottles of water setting off stage. So that was not one of the fun organic moments, but yeah, it usually changes.
Cool. So you guys are playing characters that are like 2,000 years old, but the play is kind of adapted to modern times. So how do you think it's relatable to a modern audience?
Well, I think one of the ways is the guys who wrote it, Ted and Lee, who wrote the piece. They put it in a very current vernacular. It's just like guys talking. So there's not a strange sound to the language. So I think it makes it very approachable. And I think just my own take is that the stuff that people dealt with 2,000 years ago are the same things that people deal with now. Same kinds of struggles at different contexts and circumstances, but same things that they struggle.
The 2,000 years between when they were walking the planet and now, there's a lot of scrubbing that takes place from their story, you know?
Yeah.
And what I like about this is this play, it has you thinking about what else took place between that line and that line in Scripture. You know, for example, when they traveled a certain distance to go to a town, well, you just brush over that as you read Scripture. And the truth is, that might have been a day and a half walk. And just imagine what takes place in that day and a half. Think about a road trip you take with your friends where you're going to visit someplace and you're in the car together, you know, and you sleep at night in a parking lot. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that took place with them, albeit on a different situations. And that's what's so interesting, is to think about these guys were real people. In fact, there's a scene in the play where one of the guys has had it. He wants to quit. Peter wants to quit. Now, Scripture never talks about that, but it's very possible that these guys got so confused there were times when they wanted to walk away.
Yeah.
And they didn't understand.
And that's one of the things that I think is relatable to anyone, I think pretty much at any time, is everybody knows what that feeling is when you get to a point of frustration where you just want to walk away from everything.
Yeah.
So it connects.
So that kind of leads into my next question. Has the show surprised you in any way over the years, as far as how audiences react, or how maybe your attitudes towards the show have changed?
Audience reaction is always a surprise. I mean, there's some places where you feel like you're fairly certain that this kind of a response will happen. There's certain moments in the play. And then there's others where it just depends on the crowd, whoever's watching. And I mean, my experience as an actor has been that, you know, audiences have their own personality and they respond according to that personality. Some of them are more reserved and not as responsive, and others are, they want to play. They want to have fun with you. So that has always been a consistent thing for me as an actor. Is audiences are they're different, they change, and shift. I think surprises with us has just been the stuff you already kind of talked about. Is you just, after living with it for a long time, you just find new things. And one of the ways in which we kind of check, I think, with each other is, okay, are we still listening to each other?
Yeah.
Are we still finding those moments? We're not slipping into autopilot, are we, or anything like that? So I think we try to keep it. And Mark's great about that. He pushes and he tries different things, and of course, hopefully, I'll respond to the difference that he throws at me. So.
And I think in terms of, has it surprised? I think the reason we selected to try and continue doing this play, the reason we selected it is because it got a good response, and it got a good response from us. We really enjoyed it, and the audiences that we played for have enjoyed it. So in that sense, it's not a surprise. We expect people to enjoy it when they come to see it.
Yeah.
Right, so my last question is, in a phrase or a couple of words, what is this play about?
I would say faith when you don't know what's going on, following when you have no clue.
Yeah, it's that gap between what you know and what you hope for. And why is it that some people can make that step and follow that path even when there's a gap they have to step over, and some people can't?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about.